Let engraved names echo!
Woohoo! Let's shred, Sharky! Watch out! Coming at ya! Attack! That's the way. Carving waves!
All right. Rah! Yep.
Over here.
Lynette's not joining us today?
I've had her follow Gemma and see if we... Still, I don't... Today we'll be looking into a guy named Lorenzo. When Caesar... Before long, I had to pull...
You neglected to mention that you...
My apology.
Oh, forget the pleasantries, just sit.
Get a load of this guy.
I only agreed to meet since we're both magicians.
Much obliged, sir. As it happens, the matter I want to yesterday morning, I have to get to the bottom of this to ensure that my show—
What is there to investigate? Caesar was the weasel and he's been dead.
Please, sir, no need to get so worked up.
Possibility, it's a fact, Linny. Look, my patience is limited, so the weasel is dead. Period. Everyone knows that, so
Oh, sir, my pride is
your pride?
I want to find out the Phantom Weasel's true identity.
What would that accomplish?
Uh-oh. This is getting...
Lorenzo? Is that? Oh, it is you! I know that big...
Another day, I'm busy.
Oh, come on! You can't be all business all the time. You know what they say? Live fast, die young. You got...
If I wanted your life
Sorry, my good sir. I don't believe I've had—
Oh, hey! This is your first time meeting him? Oh, he's always like this. Foul-mouthed and hard-nosed, never... and he wonders why he can't get a girlfriend, despite being, what, pushing 40, 30-something? Anyway.
Shut up and get out of my face. Another word out of you. I think it's high time I made a move as well. If you really want to investigate this, Linny, be my guest. But if nothing good comes of it, don't say I didn't warn you.
Well, that fell to pieces in a rather spectacular—
Totally. And what was all that? He's gotta be hiding something.
I think so too. That guy Edmondo seems to know—
Art is the key ingredient in fine dining. So annoyed. Forget about me. This is about what exactly?
You okay there?
Who are you? Oh, it's you guys. Don't worry about me. I must have had... I say way too much back there, didn't I? Yeah, I nearly talked myself into complete financial ruin.
So he was serious about threatening to cut you off? Ugh, Paimon knew he was a bad egg.
Hey! Keep your voice down. Don't go prying into Lorenzo's personal affairs. Bad things happen to people who ask too many...
What kind of bad things?
Don't even ask. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to cut this conversation short. I'm not crossing that line again. And take it from me, trouble with Lorenzo is one thing you don't need in your life. You saw him flare up back there. I don't know what you said to him, but clearly it touched a nerve. That's not a good sign. You
And there he goes. What do we do now, Lenny?
Shh. I think we're being watched. Someone was listening in to our whole conversation. Don't say anything and don't look back. Any altercation in the city will attract the guards. We'd better... You followed us a long way. Why don't you come out and introduce yourselves?
So you're Linny. And where's your sister? Ain't she with you today? Save us the trouble and go fetch her for us. Let's not drag this out.
Paimon doesn't like the tone of your voice, mister! Who sent you, huh?
Save your questions, missy. You ain't gonna need answers where you're going. Capiche?
Looks like we can't avoid this fight. Now, I'm not the strongest fighter, so I hope you're ready to back me up.
Don't worry, we got this!
Stay calm, stay calm. I'm fine.
Bring it! Hear the echoes of the valley!
Curses. They're tougher than we thought. Come on, let's scram!
Hurry, wise guys! We ain't through with you yet! Oh, they got away! Did you catch what they said? Sounds like they just wanted to rough us up as a scare tactic. You're right. Maybe she was too...
Well, let's head back to the cafe.
Gemma?
You again. What is it this time?
We just ran into the men who've been through... So...
What?
So,
That's putting it mildly. I know it's been 10. How do I know I can trust you? Do you really think you can get to the bottom of it all?
I'm afraid I can't reveal all the details just yet, but I can promise you this, because you see, this is a...
Okay. How can I help you?
I've heard that Caesar used... Do you know where it is?
The Fleuve Sonde. But the place was sealed up by the police after his death, and no one's been there since. I also know that the Fleuve Sonde is dangerous territory. Lots of hostile groups lurking around. If you're serious about going there, please be careful.
Understood. Lynette, you stay here and take care of...
Got it. But if I'm staying here, I'm ordering dessert.
I mean, bon appetit.
Okay. All right. Powers.
Looks like no more free coffee for me. Coffee is
one out.
If Gemma gave us the right location, then the workshop should be right nearby. Huh. Looks like these boxes are blocking the entrance. Let's shift them away first. There we go. It should be just down here.
So this was Caesar's workshop. Nothing suspicious here, just normal magic props. Let's head in further.
Behold!
What was that? Oh, is this one of Caesar's gadgets? Guess we must have triggered some sort of device. Whoa. Look, the doll in the box is glowing. There's something written on the card on the... moving. What do we do?
One of them looks different from the rest. Let's investigate.
Looks like we've reached the end of this route. Shall we try a different one? That's weird. Have we reached the end already? There's nothing here. Maybe this was a wasted trip.
This place seems a little too... We've triggered quite a few devices on the way here. If so, then there must be more to this place than meets the eye. Maybe, aha!
A secret...
I'm a magician too, and it looks pretty big.
Bring it!
Amazing!
Now disappear! Step right up. A round of applause.
Why have you stopped, Lenny? Is there some device in that box?
It just looks familiar somehow. Let me check this out for a second while you guys... If anyone makes a major
All right, see you in a bit! can't step on the same tile twice. Guess we've got to finish it in one run, huh?
Yep.
How many forging commissions do I still have to finish? Let's see. 1, 2... not so many as I thought. I'll get to them tomorrow.
Wow! There's a hidden room here! This book's thick as a brick! Let's take a peek inside it, shall we?
At one of my shows a few days ago, as a joke, I wound up two children came to talk to me after today's show. I don't know why. Anyway, they said that they wanted me to teach them how to do magic. It's not uncommon for children to. I told them that learning magic is very hard. It seems like something's bothering Lorenzo lately, but he won't open up to me about it. Surely he's not upset that I agreed to teach those two children. I'll have to talk him around. I have a good feeling about those kids. They're naturally talented, and it seems like they're not new to the world of magic. They have all sorts of fantastic ideas. All I'm really doing is helping them develop a more professional standard training plan. They wanted to call me Master, but I told them they absolutely mustn't. Any magician worth their salt could have taught them what I have. With time, Gemma thinks so. At one of my shows, as a joke, I wound up saving very little. At one of my shows a few days ago, as a joke, I told them another one. I wound up saving At one of my shows as a joke, I wound up saving. At one of my shows as a joke, I told the kid that I told them another white lie. The machine needs time to power up, but in the meantime, you can write your wishes down. I wound up saving very little this month, but that's not a major issue. I now have a bigger problem. How am I going to hide all these things inside my hat? At one of my shows as a joke, I wound up. It's nearly time for me. I once overheard. It's only been. They're very tough. They hide things. That's the thing about. I can sense that after thinking things. P.S. P.P.S. Oh, Caesar. At one of my shows as a joke, I wound up saving. At one of my shows as a joke, I told them another white lie. I wound up saving.
Two magic geniuses with a father and a mission, huh? Sounds a lot like he was writing about Linny and Lynette, don't you think? So did they meet Caesar when they were kids? Let's...
Hold that thought. As I expect.
Fishy? Uh-oh, what have you found?
All in good time. Before we go over our new leads, I want to tell you first, the magician slots themselves in. At this point, a dummy will fall out of the box, but it looks real enough to grab the audience. Meanwhile, the real magician, who has by now blended into the crowd, waits for a good moment to make their appearance and put on a hysterical performance. Oh no! His
Very vivid description. Paimon can really picture it. And then what?
The audience's gaze then turns to the magician, and by the time they realize what's happened, the dummy has vanished, as if everything that just happened was some sort of shared illusion. Of course, that's just how I think the process should work, theoretically speaking. The inventor of this trick, he fell right to the ground, and no one else has ever.
So Caesar's famous high-altitude escape has never been done, huh? Paimon was about to... Wait a second. So if a dummy's supposed to drop out of the box, then where does the real magician go?
Glad you asked. This box right here is the one that Caesar constructed himself to use in the performance, and it's not as simple as it looks. Once the magician's inside, and the box is lifted up into the air from where they're standing, at this point, the magician presses a button. He then escapes through this trapdoor onto the...
That's way simpler than Paimon imagined.
Well, there's a little more to it than that, of course. There's the falling down. Many days and nights. Caesar was a highly...
So, how did it go?
I looked into the case files.
Okay.
But here's the strange thing. Most of the devices in this workshop have the mechanism on the left-hand side, including this box right here, because a magician can't afford to have their most basic habits stand out too much. People naturally focus their attention on the most important details of the task or situation at hand. But a magician needs to be able to redirect an audience's attention at will, so as to avoid arousing their suspicion. The essence of magic is getting people to believe a lie. If even the truth raises eyebrows, the falsehoods become all the more difficult to mask. And so, Caesar trained himself to use his right hand to align with his audience's expectations. Great magic always requires sacrifices. But in his most stressful and nerve-wracking moments, and when no one was watching, reflex would kick in and he'd use his left hand. That's why he set his gadget. Exactly. I think that's likely what happened. Caesar would have been under a lot of time pressure during the escape. He'd have had mere seconds to open the hidden compartment, retrieve the dummy, then open the secret door and make a swift escape. But I'm sure he was confident. He would have rehearsed countless times to the point where it was second nature. He'd barely need to think about what he was doing because muscle memory would guide him through. So he opened the compartment, took out the dummy, checked everything was in order, and then went to leave. With his left hand, he reached for the button, and suddenly, his heart skipped a beat. It wasn't there. Much like when you reach for your keys but find your pocket empty, his mind needed a moment to process. Instinctively, his left hand would keep feeling around for the missing button, maybe for another second or two, until the bottom of the box gave way. With the stakes being as high as they were, just a 2-second delay cost him everything. The authorities would find nothing suspicious and conclude that...
When in reality, someone switched the boxes, and they did it to murder him. But how would they be able to make the switch without being noticed? That would be difficult to pull off, no?
It would have to have been someone who knew that he was left-handed, and who could move his props around without arousing suspicion. Someone who was always by his side. Isn't that right, Lorenzo?
You just couldn't let sleeping dogs lie, could you? There's not a lot of people who'd go to all this trouble for some magician who died 10 years ago. But I gave you...
You mean Gemma?
Yes, although... Which is why you can't leave this place.
Do your worst!
comes the finale.
A proper send-off! From the Spino with watch out!
Unsightly insects! Had enough yet? I think it's high.
He was just an amateur who did cheap tricks for gullible children. I was the one who made.
So it was.
Jealousy. He poured everything into his. But the people loved him, didn't they? Oh, how they looked up to him. Amazing. Yeah, so amazing that he was completely broke. Every other apprentice was living it up at their master's expense, but no, not me. I put in all the work, mastered all the skills, and it brought me nothing more than the life I already had. He forbade me from using magic to trick people out of their mora. There was nothing he hated more. And with his reputation in Fontaine, it was too risky for me to go it alone. As long as he was alive, if I dabbled in my own brand of money-making magic, he would expose me, and it would destroy me. I had to kill him. There was no other way. He had to go.
And this was your only motive?
It was reason enough. What other motive would I need?
Well, I was under the impression that there might have been other factors at play. For instance, maybe you were in love with Gemma, but she was engaged to Caesar.
In love with Gemma? Don't be ridiculous.
Guess I was wrong about that then. Next question. Are you the Phantom Weasel?
I am. Caesar was so strict with me. He insisted that his way was the right way, that the sole purpose of magic was to bring joy to the world. I never bought into any of that. I was more interested in the practical value of magic. Sure enough, it helped me fill my pockets with all kinds of valuable treasures.
Oh, yeah! Charlotte told us that the weasel would steal whatever people valued, no matter how much it was worth.
That's just how it looked from the outside. What would any thief want with second-rate loot? I've only ever targeted hive. I stole cheap things as a way of practicing my craft. It was other people's overactive imaginations that conjured up the preposterous image they then dubbed the Phantom Weasel.
So that's the story, huh? Well, I hope you're ready to tell it all over again during your trial.
What choice do I have? You're a pack of wolves, and you've got me between your jaws. So be it.
Very well. Traveler, Paimon, keep an eye on Lorraine.
Lily has told me the whole story. Lorenzo, do you confess to the murder of Caesar and to framing him for the Phantom Weasel's crimes?
Look who's finally developed a conscience. What kind of disciple murders their own master? I hope it was worth it, because there'll be hell to pay.
Looks like it's all over. What should we do next, Lenny? Should we start...
Let's rendezvous.
Good point!
My potted plant on the porch has died again. I was watering it every day. Ugh, don't tell me I overdid it this time.
Ah, you're back. You were so quick. I've only just finished my third dessert.
Your third?
It's fine. I'll shift to exercise mode and drop.
That's besides the.
Did everything go okay?
Of course!
Gosh, I had my suspicions about Lorenzo, but
It's okay, but you don't need to...
I always wanted to. I was so afraid. Thank you all.
Thank you all for clearing Caesar's name. I never would have at least his soul.
Don't blame yourself.
Yeah, use.
Cheer up, Gemma. My brother's doing this show will be
In Caesar's honor. Thank you. I'll be there.
Great. We'll see you tomorrow evening. Traveler, Paimon, don't be late.
Don't worry, we'll be there. No way are we gonna miss out on a free magic show. Wait, Paimon feels like we're forgetting something. Oh, yes!